So, today, we step back nearly 2,000 years into the pre-colonial past of southern Mindanao to meet an individual who has crossed the boundaries of time. Now, among the 29 remarkable anthropomorphic jars recovered from Ayub Cave in Sarangani province in 1991, one stands out as the crown jewel of the collection. It is known as the Maitum jar number 21. Now, let us analyze the lid. It was crafted from low-fired local clay, and the lid represents the head, shoulders, and throat of the deceased. When you look at the face, the artistry is striking. The potter carved tiny perforations along the scalp line to allow for the placement of hair or fiber inserts. And let us look closer at the lips. There are faint haunting traces of red hematite paint, a sacred mineral used in pre-colonial burial rituals to signify life and vitality. Now, the Maitum jars were not primary coffins. They were vessels for secondary burials. Years after the initial passing, once only bones remained, the community lovingly harvested, cleaned, and placed selective skeletal remains inside these jars. Now, when we look at it, we are not just looking at archaeological clay. We are looking at a monument to human emotion. We see the profound grief of a community that lost a child 2,000 years ago, and we see the immense love and labor they put into sending him safely.
Ever heard of the ancient face jars of the Philippines? These are the Maitum burial jars, or more known as the anthropomorphic burial jars in the National Museum of Anthropology. They date back between 5 BC and 370 CE, making them nearly 2,000 years old. Now, fun facts about these jars is all of them have custom portraits. So no two are alike. Every jar was custom sculpted with unique expressions, hair, and teeth to match the person who died. Second is they have clean bones only. They were used for secondary burials. Bodies decompose elsewhere first, then families clean the bones and place them inside.
In March 1964 by archaeologists in Palawan's Tabon Cave, the 3,000-year-old Manunggul jar is one of the most important pre-colonial treasures in Southeast Asia. It served as a secondary burial jar holding the washed bones of the deceased. Standing at 66 centimeters tall, this clay masterpiece features beautiful incised wave designs on its shoulders, but the highlight is the lid, which features a miniature soul boat sailing into the afterlife. Inside are two figures. The one in front has their hands crossed over their chest, representing the deceased, while the figure in the back holds a paddle, guiding the soul across a mythical sea to the next world. Here's a fun fact. You've probably held a piece of this history. The iconic soul boat lid was proudly featured on the back of the old Philippine 1,000 peso bill for decades, celebrating the nation's ancient seafaring heritage. Today, the original jar rests in the National Museum in Manila, standing as a timeless reminder of early Filipino artistry, spirituality, and culture.
Okay, so now let's move to the part where we look at these Maitum clay faces and discard Kulaman limestone. First, think about the Maitum jars. They didn't just throw bones into a pot. They sculpted individual human emotions into the clay. Sadness, joy, specific facial features. They were saying even in death, your individuality matters. You are remembered. They showed us that our pre-colonial history wasn't blank or primitive. It was rich, it was complex, and most of all, it was deeply human. And now, as a generation that is constantly looking forward, looking at screens, and looking towards the future, these artifacts are a quiet reminder to look back. They challenge us to ask if our ancestors went to such beautiful, grueling lengths to preserve the memory of who they were. What are we doing to protect that memory today? And that wraps up our infomercial, and I thank you for listening for the whole session, and That's all. Thank you.